く散りばめた星が飾る夜に潜む真実は甘く苦くて一つ誰がため迷わず悪を断つ心乱すような戸惑いも勇気に変えて強がってまたまとわりつくものさ隠そうとしてたあの日にさよならきっと告げるよ追いかけていつしか解き明かす未完成なハートは絶対誰にも渡さないから不思議じゃないよ It's my story 君のその手とリンクしてたった一つ揺るぎない希望見つけ出せる忘れないでよ未来を綺麗な夢に変えるから君と一瞬を逃さないように
Hello everyone, it's me again. And today we're going to start the second route of Onigokko. Last time we finished Koreha's route, and today we're gonna start Akari's route. Also at the first multiple choice segment. Here we are, and this time we are going to choose Don't touch the merchandise. No matter how much you wanted it, I couldn't take the shop's merchandise. For now, I needed to strengthen my resolve. Yes, ma'am, the fruit milk will be 120 yen.
理論は知ってる。
Oh, if you look closely, the lemon has only 100 yen if you buy it now. Take it, you thief.
そっちはいらない。私が欲しいのはフルーツ牛乳だ。だが
As I said, that will be 120 yen. 120 yen.
いちいちうるさい。お前私をからかってるだろ。クレハちゃん、それなら私のをどうぞ。あ、くれるのか。はい、遠慮せずどうぞ。お近づきの印だと思って。そうか、そういうことなら飲んでやってもいいぞ。
Why are you acting so proud all of a sudden?
うるさい。とにかくいただくぞ。
Sumiyoshi practically guzzled down the entire container of fruit milk as Senpai watched over her with a smile.
お味はいかがですか？うまい。やはり牛乳はフルーツに限るな。クレハちゃん、かわいい。ふにゃ、頭を撫でるな。くすぐったいではないか。
Senpai patted Sumiyoshi's head. I expected her to resist, but she was at Senpai's mercy. By the way, why are you here, Senpai? You live in the Pine Dorms, right? You must have a bath at your place. Can I skip to the next scene? Yes. So the skipping stopped, and here's the second multiple choice segment. And to reach Akari's route, we have to choose the second option here. I'm a man too. Strip and approach her. Alright, I've got this. I shot Akari the kindest smile I could muster and began to strip.
何いきなり脱いでるのよ。
Youch! I got hit in the head.
やめてよ。私はそんな気ないわよ。まずはお友達から始めないと嫌なんだから。
Wait, calm down. I wasn't trying to assault you or anything.
じゃあ何するのよ。
Like I said, calm down. You're going to catch a cold if you don't dry off. I'll go look for a towel, so for now, put this on. I stood there, shirtless, and handed Akari my sweatshirt. The morning air felt pleasantly cool against my skin.
いいわよ。それじゃあケイスケが寒い思いするじゃない。
I'll be fine. I'll warm up once I start running. If you don't want to wear it, it's fine by me if you use it as a towel instead.
だけど。
Akari thought it over for a short while, and her shoulders began to tremble from getting caught in a sudden gust of wind.
その
Right? You're gonna get sick if you stay like that. That's better than wearing your panties on your head, right? What?
もうしょうがないわね。じゃあ悪いけど借りるわ。今から着替えたいんだけど。
Go right ahead.
だからその
Mm-hmm.
今すぐ後ろを向きなさい。
Sure. After borrowing a towel from the janitor, Akari and I decided to head back to the dorms for a minute. We'd eventually have to part ways, as the men and women's dorms were separate, but I'd escort her until we reached that point. Incidentally, I only had a towel draped over my shoulders. It was way easier being a guy at times like these, as I just needed to keep my lower half covered.
ごめんね、体操服汚しちゃって。必ず洗って返すから。
I've got a spare, so no rush. More importantly, it doesn't smell, does it? I did work up a sweat cleaning.
今さらそれを言うの？
Yeah, I didn't think about it until after I gave it to you.
意識しないようにしてたのに。もう脱ぐ。
Wait, don't do that in the middle of the road.
でも。
Bear with it until you get back to the dorm. It's got to be better than catching a cold. Akari looked less than convinced, but begrudgingly agreed. Naturally, she wouldn't be very comfortable in a man's sweatshirt. I'd be overjoyed if the roles were reversed, though.
でもびっくりしちゃった。
By what?
だって男の子の裸をあんなに近くで見たのは初めてだし、男の子の服を着たのも初めてだし。
You haven't seen half-naked guys at the pool?
人の体をジロジロ見るのは失礼でしょ。変な子だと思われるし。
I don't think so. Any man would be turned on, I mean happy to have a girl looking at them.
そういうものかしら。
Yeah, men are simple creatures.
そうなんだ。見るのもありなんだ。
So, how do you feel after seeing a guy's half-naked body up close for the first time?
そうね。想像してたのよりかはなんてことなかったかも。普通？
Well, yeah, since it's not like you could really sink your teeth into anything, I guess.
曖昧ね。
Since men are wolves.
でもケイスケは狼じゃないでしょ。
What do you mean?
私に優しくしてくれたじゃない。最初は襲われるかと思って怖かったけど。
Well, I'm not actually an animal. I'd prefer to do that with someone I like.
あら、意外とロマンチストなのね。
I wonder, I just see myself as a gentle, manly virgin.
童貞？もう、またそういうエッチなこと言って。デリカシーのない人ね。
Haha, look how red you are. You're so cute when you blush.
バカ。
Akari hung her head and quietly grumbled over my comment. I couldn't tell if she was being shy or just embarrassed. Either way, her bashful behavior was incredibly adorable.
でねでね、そうしたらカナが倒れちゃったのよ。もうおかしくって。
Wow, that sounds like something she'd do.
でしょ？
A short while later, we arrived in front of the girls' bamboo dorm where Akari lived. When we did,
あ、お兄ちゃん。ってどうしてあかりさんと一緒なの？しかも仲良さそうに寄り添ってる。あ、これはその。葵ちゃん、あれは朝帰りというものですよ。さしてあげてください。朝帰りだと？なんて不死だらな。変態は死ぬべきだ。
The trio greeted us in their own unique way. Looks like they finished cleaning too. Why would you call it that? You do know I went to clean the historical site with Akari, right, senpai?
そうですよ。ケイスケとは別に隠さなくてもいいんですよ。お姉ちゃんは全部わかっていますから。いつの間にか下の名前で呼び合ってるのが何よりの証拠。あかりちゃんもやりますね。それは。ちょっとお兄ちゃん、あかりさんと何があったの？正直に答えなさい。
Wait, this was all just a misunderstanding. A bunch of stuff happened and I got to see some ripe peaches, that's all.
美味しそうな桃って。あかりちゃんのお胸のことですね。あかりちゃん、隠れ巨乳さんですから。先輩、何を言い出すんですか？胸が大きいからってなんだ。そんなものがあっても生活の邪魔だ。贅沢は敵だ。ちょっと、どうしてクレハまで絡んでくるのよ。あら、あかりちゃんの携帯が鳴っていますよ。え、あ、カナからだ。はい、もしもし。
It looked like her call was anything but pleasant. After 2 or 3 short replies, Akari's face suddenly turned serious.
わかった。すぐ行くわ。
What's wrong? What's wrong?
ごめん、休養ができたわ。午前中は休むって先生に伝えておいて。
Hey! Before I had a chance to stop her, Akari bolted toward her dorm room.
あら、私のも。皆さん、ちょっと失礼しますね。
This time it was Senpai's phone that rang. She answered it in a secret fashion.
何があったんだろうね。
An Oni may have appeared.
鬼？
Aoi, I've got a favor to ask. Will you hear me out?
オッケー、お仕事のお話だね。葵ちゃんに何でもお任せ。
The phone call to Akari was the spark that turned the once peaceful morning tense. All the while, Kureha quietly watched us from the sidelines. Is this also a new scene or can I skip? I can. The skipping stopped, and I think we might be on Akari's route now. How did it go? Is Senpai okay?
ええ、先生が途中で保護したみたい。怪我もなかったって。
I see. Thank goodness. After getting in touch with Tamaiko-sensei, Akari shared that report with a reassuring smile on her face. We were worried for Senpai's safety since we'd split up with her part way, but it sounded like she was in good hands. The scene takes place after they took care of that Tanuki treasure thing. The chief went to deliver both her stolen underwear and pendant in one person, so they should be back in Senpai's hands right about now too.
じゃあ、夜も遅いからまた明日ね。
Yeah, make sure you put on underwear tonight, otherwise you'll catch a cold.
そんなの当たり前でしょ。
Aoi was a little upset, but a quick pat on the head put her right back into good spirits. She was pretty easy to read, all things considered. What's up? It's weird to see you look so down.
今回あまり役に立てなかったなと思って。
That's not true. You got Aoi's underwear back, right? Kureha seemed appreciative too.
それはもう。
Akari and I went to visit the tea kettle of fortune together and found Kureha cleaning the place alone. She mentioned something or other about it being punishment for breaking the kettle. Once we filled her in on the situation and returned her underwear, she directed her gratitude solely to Akari and said, "I'm in your debt." Truth be told, the entire situation had left a sour taste in my mouth. However, I couldn't afford to talk about my Ura-related activities, and ultimately called it a win for Akari. What? Don't feel like calling it a win?
それはそうよ。人の手柄を横取りするなんて、それこそ泥棒みたいじゃない。私はあくまで私自身の手で事件を解決したかったの。そうじゃないと。
Otherwise?
いえ、なんでもないわ。
Akari looked taken aback and clamped her mouth shut. I guess she didn't want to say whatever it was out loud. If Akari wanted to keep it to herself, there was no sense in my forcing it. I didn't want to offend her and make her dislike me either. Anyway, it's not a big deal. You did a good job. At the very least, I'll acknowledge it as a win for you. I gently put my hand on her head and gave it a light pat. Despite the impressive fight she had just put up, her hair was silky smooth and smelled incredible.
やめて
Huh?
って話して。
Whoops, sorry. I quickly put my hand back at her request. Crap, I touched her head without her consent, since it was something I often did with Aoi. Sorry for doing that out of nowhere.
いいの。ちょっと驚いただけだから。男の子にああやって頭撫でられたの初めてだったし。
I see. Sorry for stealing a first from you.
いいのよ。ケイスケならその平気だし。
Huh?
ちょっとそこなんでいい雰囲気なの。葵ちゃんいたの。そりゃいますよ。ずっといましたとも。ここあたしんちの前ですから。それもそうね。じゃあまた明日ね、ケイスケ。
Yeah, good night.
おやすみなさい。
When I waved my hand, Akari returned the gesture with a small wave of her own and disappeared inside. You think she hates me now?
そうだといいんだけどね。
What's that supposed to mean?
なんでもないよーだ。
Aoi gave that vague-sounding reply before heading back to her own room. I wasn't entirely sure, but Akari wasn't actually mad at me, right? I hoped not. She was scary when she went off the deep end. Still though, Akari's hair really was beautiful.
いいのよ。ケイスケならその平気だし。
It's alright if it's me, huh? I recalled what Akari had said, as well as the lingering sensation of her hair on my hand, and I naturally got a spring in my step. Ah, why couldn't it be tomorrow already? Oh, is this Akari's room? I opened the door, turned on my light, then leaned against the wall and dropped down onto my backside.
びっくりした。
I hadn't expected him to pet my head out of the blue. Keisuke was so unpredictable. My heart was still pounding like crazy. Settle down, Akari. I let out another small sigh in order to catch my breath. I finally managed to calm down a little. Grabbing a drink and changing emotional gears seemed like the best course of action.
それにしても。
I recalled the lingering sensation of Keisuke's hand on my hair, and at the same time, I remembered my dad. The feel of his hand. It reminded me of Dad's. Big, strong, yet gentle through and through. It felt like it had been ages since another person had touched my head like that. Mom used to do it in the past, though. Come to think of it, Mom stopped doing that after Dad left us. Ever since Dad lost his life in that fight 10 years ago. What fight?
やめやめ。
Thinking about Mom was a waste of time. Nothing I could say at this point would ever change her. I had decided to live on my own because she would never change. I grabbed the peach juice from the fridge and took a gulp.
甘い。
Sweet and delicious. It would be great if Keisuke could get used to this flavor too.
ケイスケが。
I gazed up at the beautiful starry night sky and whispered that boy's name. Maybe it was due to the traces of peach juice in my mouth, but I was surprised by the sweetness of my own voice. The next day flew by and it was already lunchtime. Aoi, Kureha and I were called to the committee room. Oh, I can skip. So let's do that. And the skipping stopped.
お前はいいやつだが、時々頭の中身が心配になる。え？私どこも悪くないよ。そこの変態。早めに病院へ連れて行け。
Hehe, sorry, I'm really busy cleaning right now.
ちょっと何おに
I silently covered the pitiful girl's mouth. You might be a bit off in the head, but live strong, Aoi.
あらあら、新手のプレイですか？
Aoi simmered down the second she heard Otome-senpai's outrageous comment.
君たち兄弟で裏山もといハレンチなことをするなんて許せないよ。
兄様、今羨ましいと聞こえたのですが。
誤解だよかな。僕はそんなことは言ってないよ。
大混乱ですね。
Only because you said something weird, senpai.
ごめんなさい。それで何のお話でしたっけ？
素人である浦部たちには何もすることがないから今すぐ帰るという話だったな。
Isn't it suspicious for a teacher to calmly omit certain details of a conversation, all while twisting what his students actually said? Just calling it like I see it.
黙れ。学生は学生らしく勉強していればいいんだ。それ以上は望まん。
What's with that logic? Don't treat us like we're a bunch of bad apples.
お兄様、人の話はちゃんと耳を傾けるものですよ。
裏の話ならもう聞いただろう。これ以上何がある？
なら私からいいか。
Kureha chimed in and took a quiet step forward. I did want to speak up, but I was curious what Kureha might say, so I decided to go with the flow.
それで聞きたいことって何かしら？偽裏は秘宝を探していて、それは御三家が管理していると言ったな。ええ、その通りよ。ならば偽裏は何らかの形で御三家に関わる人間に接触してくる可能性が高い。違う。そうね、そう思うわ。では委員会に所属している私やそこの変態たちも巻き込まれる可能性がある。そうだな。まあそういう可能性も否定できないわね。だろう。だから御三家としてこれからどういう対応を行うのか聞いておきたい。いざという時自分の身くらい自分で守りたいしな。でもそれは聞けば吉備宮先輩のミスで西園寺先輩が襲われ危険な目にあったらしいな。桃太郎の子孫だかなんだか知らんが、これでは桃太郎侍というよりうっかり侍ではないか。うっかり侍？ん？うっかり以外の理由があるなら説明してほしいものだ。それは 説明できないようだな。やはりうっかり侍ではないか。こんなやつに任せろと言われたところで信用できん。私がうっかり侍。
That must have come as a huge shock, as a now forlorn Akari hung her head and appeared visibly depressed. I mean, yeah, there wasn't much else you could call that mistake other than careless. However, from where I was standing, I found her dejected attitude to be quite charming. Now, don't criticize Akari so much. Everyone makes mistakes.
そうですよ。私もペンダントもこうして無事だったわけですし、あかりちゃんはよくやってくださいましたよ。ならば立派な桃太郎が考えている今後の対応策くらいは教えてほしいものだな。私たちはすでに巻き込まれているんだ。全てを秘密にしたままことを進めるには限界があると思うぞ。そうですね。今後の対策くらいなら教えて差し上げてもよろしいのではないでしょうか。わかりました。
Akari let out a heavy, exasperated sigh and faced Kureha head-on.
まず警備の話からするわね。一度狙われた乙女先輩には玉彦先生と忍者部隊が護衛に当たるわ。それは今朝から始まってる。
ああ、乙女の通う学園で何かあっては困るからな。お前たちをはじめ学生に危害が及ばないよう警護している。学業やプライベートには影響ないから心配するな。お前たちは普段通りの
島のパトロールは坂上家が中心に行うことになってる。島中に私服忍者を見回らせて怪しい行動をしている輩がいたらすぐにご同行をお願いしているよ。どうして僕を見つめているんだい？恋しちゃったのか？
誰がするか、このキングオブ不審者が。
Yeah, Kureha had a point. I wanted to float the idea that this guy right in front of us was awfully suspicious myself.
ちょっと話進めていいかしら。
Yeah, go ahead.
それじゃあ次に秘宝に関してだけど、偽浦は宮島の秘宝をいただくって予告状を出してきたわ。それには当然今まで集めた秘宝もターゲットに含まれていると思う。だけどそっちは吉備宮家の地下にある岩戸に厳重に保管してあるし、警護もいつも以上に増やしたから心配しなくていいわ。むしろ私たちが警戒すべきなのはまだ回収が済んでない秘宝の方ね。昨日の茶釜みたいにこの島にはまだ存在を知られてない秘宝が眠っているかもしれないし。
Telling us not to worry makes you sound awfully sure of yourself.
まあね、なんだかんだ言ってもうちは優秀だから。
だけど昔は裏に何度か盗みに入られたことがあったよね。
昔のことよ、昔のこと。おい、本当に安全なのか？大丈夫よ、問題ない。裏に襲撃されるたびに警備を強化してきたんだから。その証拠にここ10年は秘宝を盗まれたことはないわ。警備は完璧よ。あかりちゃんの言う通り、今の吉備宮の警備は施設といい人員といいかなり厳重なものになっています。本物の裏でも忍び込むのは相当困難だと思いますよ。当然偽浦さんも忍び込めるとは思えません。そんな要塞みたいなところを狙うよりまだ回収できてない秘宝を狙った方が確かに楽ちんだね。はい。もっとも偽浦さんが御三家の所有する特定の秘宝を狙っているというならお話は別でしょうけど。なるほど、話は大体分かった。それで先輩たちはこれからどうするんだ？私と兄様はパトロールに出ることになりました。残念ですが今後はあまり委員会に顔を出せないかもしれません。私もそうするつもりよ。この手で偽浦を捕まえてやるんだから。
待て吉備宮、お前には自宅待機するよう本家から命令が出ているぞ。
のところにもあかりちゃんは待機って連絡が。
ふざけないでよ。本家がどう言おうが関係ないわ。私もパトロールに出る。うちでじっとなんてしてられるもんですか。
キビツミヤ、それは命令違反だぞ。
現場の判断よ。
Akari replied, rose to her feet, and threw the sliding door open, leaving only wrath in her wake.
あかりちゃん。
偽裏は、土蜘蛛は私が必ず捕まえる。絶対に。
Akari ignored Kana's feeble attempts to stop her, slammed the door shut, and left us with those parting words. Just then, the warning bell rang and shattered the heavy mood.
仕方ありません。今日はひとまず解散しましょうか。はい。
When Senpai stood up with a troubled smile on her face, everyone else followed suit and got up after her. What a mess. I'd hoped in the best case scenario that I could be involved in taking out the fake Ura, but I guess things weren't going to work out that easily. Still though, Akari was awfully fixated on catching the fake Ura. She looked super menacing when they mentioned her being put on standby too. I had never seen her that angry before. I wondered what had set her off. When I returned to the classroom, I discovered Akari had already taken her seat, placed her textbook and notebook on her desk, and eagerly awaited for the lecture to begin. Given her early enthusiasm, I assumed she'd skip class altogether and immediately go out on patrol, but she was her usual studious self and stayed on campus. With that said, she certainly looked less than pleased. Akari sat stewing in her seat for the entire duration of class.
じゃあ次の問題を君じゃなくて佐藤。
Akari's negative vibes were so intense that even Sensei didn't want to interact or make eye contact with her. She was really easy to read, but that was amusing in its own right. She must have been desperate to leave, as she practically leaped out of her chair the second class ended and bolted into the hallway.
あかりちゃん。
That sort of behavior was super intimidating. After Kana and our other classmates watched her flee the scene in a daze, I was hit with a sudden realization. If Akari went on patrol that pissed off, wouldn't that put the fake Ura on edge and motivate them to not show up? It would be in the fake Ura's best interests to not show up right now anyway. Akari was definitely a skilled swordswoman, so crossing swords with her while she was so pissed off could lead to the worst possible outcome. Yup, better to hold off on chasing after her for now. With that thought, I quickly tossed my things into my bag and was about to leave when... Kana shyly called out to me. Come on already, why was this girl only assertive at times like this? This time I was gonna drive her straight out of the ring. Sorry, I'm in a hurry, so please keep it brief.
この前みたいにお相撲の真似をしないでお話を聞いてほしいんですが。
Rejected, rejected.
2回も言われちゃいました。ですが大事なことなんです。お願いします。お願いします。
You can beg all you want, but I'm still in a hurry.
私も急いでるんです。急いでるんです。
Ugh, seeing her stare at me and jerk forward all teary-eyed really put me on the spot. I really needed to get the hell out of there, but it was unusual for Kana to act so persistent. It might actually be something important.
お願いします。お願いします。
No fair, Kana. Urabe Keisuke, you're such a weakling. You can't win against a crying woman. Got it, I concede. Let's hear it.
はい、ごめんなさい。
おい
浦部が坂上さんを泣かせてるぞ。
何をやったのかしら。
In all seriousness, please make it quick before people get the wrong idea.
すみません。では落ち着いてお話ができるところで。
別れ話か？
あの二人が付き合ってるなんて話聞いたことないよ。むしろこの流れは告白よ。
Enough from the peanut gallery. Get out of here already. I doubted it was anything of the sort, but what should I do if that's what she was gunning for?
ケイスケさん、私とお付き合いしていただけませんか？
Yeah, entirely plausible. Wait, stop! This wasn't the time to be daydreaming. I needed to get this over with and look for Akari. We eventually found ourselves on the roof of the school gates. The roof was off limits to all but committee members, so we should be able to have a quiet conversation here.
お手間を取らせて申し訳ありません。これから話すことは他言無用でお願いします。
With what happened this afternoon, there's been a lot going on lately. I scratched my head and let out a quick sigh.
真面目なお話なんです。
Kana jerked forward and stared up at me with a serious look on her face. That menacing expression was so unlike her that I couldn't help but feel bewildered.
ごめんなさい。つい大きな声を出してしまいました。でも本当に大切なお話なんです。
Kana apologetically bobbed her head up and down. This was more like her. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. I poked fun at you first, so I'm sorry.
ケイスケさん。
It's important, right? Okay, let's hear it.
はい。お話というのはあかりちゃんのことなんです。
Does it have something to do with the way she's been acting since this afternoon?
はい。
Kana began to tell her story with a docile look on her face.
あかりちゃんがそこまで怒っているのはニセウラさんが土蜘蛛の残党である可能性が非常に高いせいだと思うんです。
Oh, I was curious about that too, but why is she so insistent when it comes to the Tsuchigumo?
実は10年前の土蜘蛛との戦いで吉備宮家の当主あかりちゃんのお父様が命を落としているんです。
Huh? Akari's dad passed away 10 years ago, and in the battle with the Tsuchigumo?
あかりちゃんはおじさまによく懐いていて何かあるとお父さんお父さんって本当に仲のいい家族だったんです。おじさまが亡くなった時あかりちゃんはワンワン泣いて。
Kana seemed lost in thought, sniffled, and wiped away at the corners of her eyes. I get it. Basically, if the fake Ura is part of the Tsuchigumo, then she would be her father's arch-enemy. Her father's arch-enemy, huh? Now I understood why she was acting so strangely earlier. Wait, if Akari's dad passed away, then who is the current head of the Kibitsumiya family? Her mother?
あかりちゃんのお母さんです。10年前からずっと当主代行を務めていらっしゃいます。
I see.
それでここからが本題なのですが今のあかりちゃんは冷静さを失っています。今までもこういうことは何度かあったのですが吉備宮家の当主様の命令に逆らったことはなかったんです。
It wasn't like she'd never flown off the handle before now, especially when something Ura-related came up. But I'd better just keep quiet and avoid stirring up any unnecessary trouble. Are you asking me to stop Akari?
いえ、あそこまで頭に血が上っちゃってるあかりちゃんを止めるのは難しいと思います。
True enough, I'd hoped she would listen to anything I had to say anyway.
ですから 介さんにはパトロールをして回るあかりちゃんのそばについていてほしいんです。
Team up?
お願いします。圭介さんの身に危険が及ばない範囲で構いませんから。
Akana leaned forward again and pleaded to me. Her face was so close that her breath was practically hitting me. She got this way when talking about runes too. However, despite how docile she could be at times, she could be quite proactive and enthusiastic if a situation ever called for it.
圭介さん、聞いてらっしゃいますか？
Yeah, I am. Your face is just so cute. It'll make a guy's heart race, you know.
ごめんなさい。
Ha ha ha. Nah, we'll call it a perk.
ごめんなさい。
So, as far as your request goes, I don't mind.
本当ですか？ってごめんなさい。また。
Ha ha ha, it's fine, really. With that said, I do have a question for you. Why me? If you wanted to poke your nose into Akari's business, wouldn't someone from the three great families be more qualified than someone like me?
おっしゃることはもっともです。ですが、御三家の人間はそれぞれの任務がありますから、あかりちゃんのそばにずっとというわけにはいかないんです。ですから、御三家の人間ではなく、比較的自由に動けて、あかりちゃんと仲良くやっていただけそうな方に頼むしかなくて。
And that's me?
はい。あかりちゃんと圭介さん、最近仲が良さそうでしたので、馬も合っているように見えましたし。
I don't know about that, but do you really think so?
はい。圭介さんと出会った頃からあかりちゃん、なんだか人が柔らかくなった気がして。
I guess it's probably okay for me to assume that she doesn't hate me at the very least.
はい、いいと思いますよ。
Kana replied with a smile, and I shyly scratched the back of my head. Anyway, since we can't stop her, do you want me to put a bell around her neck or something?
いいえ、それなら携帯があれば済むことです。お願いしたいのはあかりちゃんのフォローです。あかりちゃん、いつもは真面目でしっかり者なんですが、この間みたいに肝心なところでミスを犯すことがあるんです。
Did something else happen?
はい、昔からそういうところがありまして、本人は認めたがりませんけど、ですからあかりちゃんにはしっかり者の相棒が必要だと思ったんです。
Okay, now I understand what's going on. Am I really the best person to help out that klutzy samurai?
むしろ適任だと思いますよ。フォローというのは心理的なものを含めてのお話ですから。
Psychologically?
怒りに任せて大事にならないよう、あかりちゃんをそばで見守ってほしいんです。
That's a pretty important job, isn't it?
ですから圭介さんにお願いしたいんです。
It was embarrassing to hear such praise. She thought quite highly of me for some reason, but I was flattered all the same.
それと圭介さんが適任だなって思ったのはもう一つ理由がありまして。
What's that?
圭介さんは私の怪力を受け止めて平然としていた方ですから、万が一があっても大丈夫かなって。
Oh, that makes sense.
すみません、なんだか打算的で嫌ですよね。
Nah, I don't think there's any flaw in your logic. I guess I really am cut out for it. I hadn't expected her to be so observant. Kana was tiny, but that was the head of the Sakagami family for you. What a sly fox she was.
それで改めて伺いますけど、いかがでしょうか。
From what I had heard, there was no reason for me to turn her down. Joining the three great families' patrols was always a part of my plan. If I were to participate in the patrols via Kana's request, that would justify my presence and work out perfectly. Got it. Consider done.
本当ですか？
Come on, don't look at me like that.
ごめんなさい。
Well, Akari did tell me not to get involved since it's dangerous, but I wouldn't be much of a man if I turned down such a cute girl's request, right?
はい、ありがとうございます。私もできる限り協力します。
Well, time to strike while the iron's hot. I'd better get to work. I pulled out my cell phone and gave Akari a call. A few moments later, she answered.
もしもし、ケイスケ？私忙しいんだけど。
Akari, where are you right now?
商店街だけど。
Okay, got it. I'll be right there, so wait for me.
ちょっとケイス。
That ought to do it. Okay, I'm off.
あかりちゃんをよろしくお願いします。
I waved to Kana as she bowed deeply to me and hurried toward the entryway. You've got some amazing friends, Akari. It was impressive how a woman like you had friends who cared about you so much. My primary goal was to gather intel, but it had blossomed into something much more than that. A friend had asked me to take care of another friend. What an exciting development.
ようやく来たわね。
Sorry to spring this on you. Thanks for waiting.
行くって言われて返事も待たずに切られたらそうするしかないでしょ。
Sorry. Despite her complaints, Akari waited around for me anyway. I really liked that conscientious side to her. You went out on patrol the second class let out.
そうだけど、まさか電話したのって。
You bet. I want to go on patrol with you.
ダメよ。連れてはいけないってお昼に言ったはずだけど。
Make an exception for me, just this once. I clapped my hands together and begged for her to reconsider.
あのね、ケイスケ。遊びじゃないのよ。
Wouldn't it be wise to have more manpower if you're going out on patrol anyway? I could notify the others via text if something were to happen.
理屈はわかるけど、危ないからダメ。
Isn't it equally dangerous for you?
そんなことないわ。私にはこれがあるもの。
Akari replied and drew her wooden sword from her bag. True, Akari was a skilled swordswoman. When we'd crossed swords before, she was incredibly perceptive, swift, and terrifyingly accurate. Most enemies who took her head-on would get beaten down, myself included. But... That's true, but a certain someone happened to leave their cell phone in their room. I guess you're not a klutzy samurai for nothing.
今それを蒸し返さないでっていうか、うっかり侍って言うな。
Then, klutzy Imperial Guard?
うっかり度合いが増してるじゃないの。私あんなにうっかりさんじゃないもん。
The way she puffed up her cheeks was adorable. Her hard-working, diligent nature only made me want to tease her more. But Kana and Kumakichi said as much too.
あの子たちったら。ともかく、ダメなものはダメなんだから。
Please make an exception. It won't cost you a single millet dumpling. Please take me in as your retainer, Momotaro-san.
もうしつこいわね。あのね、別に意地悪で言ってるんじゃないのよ。ケイスケだって乙女先輩がどうなったか聞いたでしょ。あんな風に偽裏に捕まっちゃったらどうするのよ。
I'll run away before that happens.
え？
I'm pretty confident in my ability to get out of sticky situations.
あのね。
I'll leave the fighting to you and we'll just act as backup. I think we'd make for a pretty good team.
もう何考えてるのよ。本当にダメなものはダメ。もっと真剣に考えてよ。あの時はペンダントを奪われる程度で済んだけど、一歩間違えれば死んでたかもしれないのよ。土蜘のせいで誰かが傷つくのを見るのもうたくさん。実は10年前の土蜘との戦いで吉備宮家の当主あかりちゃんのお父様が 命を落としているんです。
I thought about what Kana had said before Akari got so angry when it came to the fake Ura to the Tsuchigumo because she wanted to avenge her father. It wasn't like I couldn't understand how she felt, but it was still way too dangerous for her to go alone. In addition to Kana's request, I also had a bone to pick with a fake Ura. I needed to figure out how to smooth things over and fast. Well, that may be, but...
友達を危ない目に遭わせたくないのよ。お願い、分かって。
It was clear how worried she was about me. When she put it like that, I wasn't entirely sure how to keep up this argument. I was ostensibly just an ordinary student, and I understood why she was so worried. And it wasn't like I disliked knowing that someone cared about me so much, but I couldn't afford to just agree with her and back down. If only I could come up with some logical reason for her to agree it was okay for me to join her, but if I were to show off my Oni powers, then she might start to distrust me. Wait a second. I didn't really need her approval, did I? Kana asked me to keep an eye on Akari, so I could still accomplish my goal if I just tagged along whether she liked it or not. Take profit over fame. Alright, I could work with that. Alright, there's not much I can do if you feel that strongly about it.
ごめんね。気持ちはありがたく受け取っておくから。
Yeah, good luck out on patrol then. I'll go on a walk or something before heading home.
ええ。それじゃあ、またね。
After Akari waved and turned around, I nonchalantly followed after her.
どうしてついてくるのよ。
I just happened to be walking in the same direction as you. Don't worry about it.
そういうこと。わかった。
Ah, Akari-san's temples were spazzing like crazy.
いいわ。ついてこられるものならついてきなさい。
Oh! Unbelievable! I didn't think she'd break into a full sprint. However, I remained unfazed and dashed after her. Hey, wait a second! This is turning into more of a marathon than a patrol.
これが私流のパトロールよ。ケイスケは散歩でも何でもしてればいいでしょ。
Heh, bring it on! My walks are hardcore. As Akari picked up the pace even further, I increased my speed to match. This was a pretty brisk pace for a girl, however, compared to the intense training I went through as Ura, it may as well have been a foot race against an elementary schooler. When Akari saw me chasing after her, she picked up the pace even further. Oh, her black hair was so glossy and had a pleasant floral aroma as it fluttered in the breeze. Wait, no! This made me sound like a total Kumakichi tier stalker.
もうしつこいわね。
Ha ha ha! We just happened to be heading into the same place. She probably never thought I'd last this long. How naive of you, Akari-san. When I put my mind to it, I had enough stamina to run a full marathon at top speed. This was yet another fruit of Grandpa's intensive training. Oh my, out of breath already? Your Keisuke-kun over here is still full of energy while out on his walk though.
私だってまだまだよ。
Akari glared hard at me and tied her hair up in a ponytail with practiced hands. That may have been Akari's way of psyching herself up.
見てなさい。ここからが本番なんだから。
Oh! With that, she picked up the pace. I naturally followed alongside her. This same pattern happened over and over again. Before I knew it, we'd made a full lap around the island.
しつこい。
Why are you breathing so hard? Are you alright?
なんでそんなに元気なのよ。
I train just as much as you do. I may not look it, but I am pretty confident in my stamina.
悔しいけどそこは認めざるを得ないわね。
What do you think? I'd make for a great partner, if you realized how quick I am on my feet.
まだ言うの？危ないことには変わりないでしょ。だから首を突っ込んじゃダメだってば。
I guess she turned me down again. Still, seeing her breathing heavily, getting red in the face, and with sweat glistening off the nape of her neck made for a pretty great sight. Well, Akari was pretty hard-headed. I didn't expect things to go smoothly in such a short span of time. I decided to back down for the day and be patient. Thanks for the meal.
はい召し上がれ。
Sitting there on our table were several familiar but less than visually appealing dishes. I got an email from Aoi on my way home that said, "I'd like to sort out our intel. Should I make dinner?" To which I replied, "Yes." For now I stuck what looked like meat and bean sprout stir fry into my mouth and followed it up with a spoonful of white rice. Yup, very tasty.
よかった。担当上がり。
Yeah, I'm gonna stuff myself. Aoi-tan would occasionally cook meals for me whenever she got in the mood, and she made for a welcomed presence in an otherwise empty house. Pretty much all I could manage was cooking rice in a rice cooker and pouring hot water into cup noodles.
そういえば協力の話断られちゃったね。どうしようか。
Yeah, I've got something else in mind though.
本当？どんな作戦なの？
Actually, Kana pulled me aside and asked me to keep an eye on Akari. I accepted her request, which gives me some good justification for it.
どうしてカナさんが？
Well, I summed up the conversation I had with Kana as well as my interaction with Akari. Upon hearing this, a soft smile crossed Aoi's face.
そっか。カナさんもあかりさんもやっぱりいい人だね。
Yeah, they really care about their friends.
でも私たちのやってることを考えるとみんなを騙してるみたいでちょっと後ろめたいね。
Yeah, but we can't afford to reveal our identities either.
そうだね。
Our goal was to capture the fake Ura. We couldn't afford to lose sight of that. Well, it is a little underhanded, but we are planning to hand the fake Ura over to Akari and the others, so it's not a bad deal for either side. Let's just think of it that way.
そうだね。わかった。じゃあいち早く偽裏を捕まえられるように私もいろいろ探りを入れてみるよ。
Yeah, this is going to be an uphill, investigative battle for a bit. I'm counting on you, Aoi.
任せて。
Aoi patted her somewhat sparse chest and was brimming with confidence. My little sister, giving off a snort to fire herself back up, was trustworthy indeed. I'm going to try tagging along on Akari's patrol again tomorrow. I need to get closer to her and collect as much information as I can. I made that promise with Kana after all. I can't exactly leave that klutzy samurai alone.
お近づき？放っておけない？まさかお兄ちゃん、あかりさんのことが好きに？
I'm not. Not yet. Well, Akari is cute, has a nice personality and has huge boobs. Yeah, not bad at all actually. I couldn't help but smile when the image of a gung-ho, but otherwise klutzy, samurai popped into my head. Those ripe melons that stuck out beneath her wet gym uniform, they looked so tasty. Moron, where do you think you're gonna find a brother who would actually want to rub his sister's tits?
そこにいる
Nope, absolutely not here.
ならやっぱりあかりさんのことが好きに
I don't. And I mean that would obviously be bad if you thought of it from Phantom Thief Ura's point of view.
じゃあ浦部圭介的にはまずくないんだ
Hmm? Well, suddenly I tried picturing what Akari would be like after having become my girlfriend.
圭介好き
Ah, so fucking cute. Not bad. Not bad at all. Oops, Aoi-tan's misty eyes hurt. Well, anyway, if I'm with her, even if I have to force it, we might get our hands on a clue about the fake Ura. I'm sure we'll get in touch with Akari and the others if the fake Ura does something, and we may be able to steal some information if I'm near her. That's the gist of it.
情報を得るためね
Crap, there was that skeptical look again. Had she seen that stupid grin I had on my face just moments before? No matter how you looked at it, this plan had nothing but upsides for me. There was obviously a chance I could acquire information, but if I'm being blunt, Akari was just so damn beautiful. Not only would it serve as justification, I'd get to be with a girl like that. Talk about a perk. Since I was constantly transferring and on the move, nothing this scrumptious had come up before. I hardly assumed something so nice would come back to haunt me later. A relationship with Akari? I couldn't quite picture it, but getting to be with a cute girl like her was more than enough. If things went smoothly, I might even get to see those peachy boobs a second time. Hehehe.
お兄ちゃん鼻の下が伸びてる
Whoops! Guess my cheeks and lips were getting loose on me. I quickly tightened my expression. Anyway, that's how things are going to fly starting tomorrow, so I'll do my best.
いまいち気が進まなくなった
Ark, this girl! Anyway, this could wait for now. Starting tomorrow, I was going to be all fired up.